Rise and grind, my beautiful Viking tribe. Episode 13 is here. I gotta warn you, it's gonna be a little bit mellow. I'm fatigued because I've been busting my ass all week, as you can tell by, if you're watching the daily vlogs. And on top of that, I just ran a 5K, so it's 11 a.m. right now. We're having a heat wave over here, so my idea was, because I've been hitting the gym so hard, hitting the weight so hard, I was gonna take it easy and take a rest day. So my stupid ass came up with a brilliant plan to get out early, first thing in the morning, and go for a 5K run. And I just did that, and I gotta be honest, feeling pretty damn exhausted. But that is not gonna stop me from delivering on my purpose, which is making the best content for you guys. And I do have something very important, yet mellow, to talk about today. So yesterday I was having a get-together with a bunch of friends at a campfire. Like, obviously, since we're having a heat wave, we're kind of like shifting our day the way that Spanish people do. In Spain, there's a siesta between 12 and 5 because it's just too hot to operate. And people basically live in the, in the night. They have dinner at 9:30 p.m. and they don't go to bed until 1. So we're kind of doing the same. And we were having a get-together, having some drinks. Me and the old man tribe. And I was basically talking about, so this particular group of friends, they're a little bit older than me. So they're like early 40s, late 30s, right? And I was talking about basically expressing the fact that I'm getting a little bit worried about my, me being single at 34. Not that in itself, just the fact that I'm very clearly noticing that with every extra year of solitude, I am becoming more specific in terms of what I like, how I want my life to look day to day, and I feel like I am gradually losing more and more flexibility as it pertains my potential willingness to sacrifice certain things for someone else. I hope that didn't sound too complex. What I'm basically saying is, when the older you get, the deeper you kind of, go into your tracks. Like, imagine the human psyche, our personality, like a beautiful mountain filled with snow, right? Like this picture-perfect mountain in Austria, filled with pure, pristine, fresh snow. And then what happens is when we start, when we start growing and evolving and thinking a lot about things and forming our personality, what we're basically doing is we're skiing down this perfect mountain, right? And obviously, when you ski, you create tracks. Like, first time you ski, you'll be able to see, how you skied. And if you keep skiing down the same way, the same slope, the same route, those tracks are gonna get more and more deeply profound. And it's the same with our character, with our habits, with how we look at life. The older we get, the deeper those tracks get, right? And the deeper those tracks get, the harder, progressively harder it gets to no longer ski in those tracks and to start skiing in some fresh snow off track, which, if you're a little bit hip to skiing off track is considered dangerous. And it's the same thing, like when you start stepping outside of your habits, outside your comfort zone, that feels uncomfortable. And it's the same, like, let's say, that's what I was talking about. when a new person comes into my life, when a new woman comes into my life, I'm gonna have my routines and my ideas set, and it's gonna be hard. I'm not trying to be negative or speak that into existence, but I just know from experience, and I see that all around me. The older you get, the harder it becomes, and it gets to adapt, because you get so damn good at being alone and living by yourself. In the beginning it's hard, but you get better and better and better at it, which probably isn't the best thing, but that's just kind of like human nature, right? Humans are just really good at adapting. So here you are, having fully adapted to living by yourself, and all of a sudden, boom, this whole new human being with opinions and needs and wants and hobbies and interests, and you gotta you gotta figure that one out, and hopefully that person will be special and amazing enough to make you want to make those sacrifices. But if it's kind of if you don't consider it worth it, then you're gonna be reluctant to do so, thus creating issues down the line. And I was just basically expressing the fact that I'm a little bit worried about that, because I can feel myself becoming more stubborn in my ways, and I'm getting a little bit too good, I guess, at just being single and not necessarily needing that other romantic person in my life, and that is only going to get gradually worse with the years. So I was talking about that, like I said, to my buddies, and one of them said something it really kind of he came with the other side of the puzzle. He said, you're right. And he said, me, this guy's been married for a long time, definitely over a decade, probably maybe even 20 years, I don't know, long. And he's like, I don't understand, let's say you've been with someone for 15 years. Let's say for whatever reason things don't work out, and we also have to start over. I don't understand how people do that, in the sense that it's gonna be impossible to recreate going through your late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, early 40s together, all those things that you experience and go through together. That creates a bond that is so much more profound and deeper than just romance and attraction and superficial love. You're literally going through a very important stage in your life together, and that does something with a person. For example, I also experienced that with my ex Katya. We went through COVID together, we went through the lockdown together. And we also, more importantly than that, we went through, basically, both of us were quite wild when we met each other, in terms of the way we were living. We were not prioritizing financial stability. We were basically very focused on traveling, living for the moment, and just having fun. And then we both together came together and unified, and went through this maturity process together. We became way more serious, career-oriented, finance-oriented. What I'm trying to say in a complicated way is we both basically became adults together. And that's something I'll forever link that experience and that evolution and that stage of my life to her. But what I'm trying to say is, so what my friend was saying is that even if let's say you get divorced, you split up, and you need somebody new, that person is never gonna be able to fully, I guess I shouldn't say take that person's place, because that's not the idea, but isn't it though? That's kind of what we're doing though. If you split up or you get divorced or break up, and then you have a new partner, and you could say, that person is not meant to replace the other person. You know, that's not the idea. It's a new relationship. Everything is new. It's like, yeah, new person, everything, but at the same time, there's going to be so many aspects about your journey, about your life, that person is never going to be able to understand, like fully understand, because they weren't there. And there's just no way to recreate that. You can have all the conversations you want, you can describe it, you can do your best to explain it, but if you haven't had that person, or if you did have that person and you lost them, that was there in those formative years, late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, early 40s, there's just no way you can ever mimic that again. And I guess I'm saying all that to say I'm realizing that being 34 and being single, I've already missed out on ever having that, you know. And that's not me being emotional or like, you know, negative. That's just a fact. Like, I'm already no longer able to ever have had that person that kinda, you know, saw me go from a man-child to a man. And that person still exists, obviously, like as Katya, but we're no longer together. And even though we're still really good friends, you know, but that's not gonna be, whoever I end up next with is never gonna be able to get that, or was there. Maybe probably I'm overthinking it, but there is something to be said about that. And I'm kind of realizing, like, I've always had this obsession with like waiting out until I get the best. And when I say that, I mean literally with anything in life. Like, I want the best for me in every single regard. And that's why I've always been very hypercritical of partner choice. Can you imagine walking around with a disfigured face and then still being so picky? But that's just the way it is. And I've always made it a point not to change that simply due to what happened to me, you know? Like, I'd rather be alone for the rest of my days than having to conform to something that I don't fully feel is me or is what I want. Like, I'm just not conforming. That's just the way it is. So I don't want you to feel bad for me. I'm just telling you that's how I've felt and how I will probably continue to feel. But yeah, that's just something that there's definitely a point of diminishing returns as it pertains to wanting, you know, to waiting for the ideal situation and the ideal partner. And then one day you just kind of like wake up, like today, and realize, oh, you know, like that's already out the window. And there's no way that's ever coming back, because I'm not going to go through that maturation process again. I understand, and I know a lot of people are gonna say, you know, like, what does that really matter? And people are gonna come and they don't necessarily would have needed to been there. I know they would not have needed, like, that's not necessary. I know, I'm fully aware you can still, you know, start relationships at 40 or 50 or 60 even. But it's just, there's a big part of the puzzle missing, I guess, that you'll just like never fully understand or find out. You know, like, I think that's a beautiful thing. If you can, if people that have that, and I know it's people, all relationships are hard and all relationships have dark periods and everybody struggles. But if, you know, I just kind of, this morning, I wish, I don't know. It's nice if you can say, like, this person was here through it all and saw it all happening, and now that person is still here. Like, that definitely is a beautiful thing. So, anyone that does have that watching this video, I salute you. I commend you. There's a lot of value in that. And I guess that's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry that today is not is not the most happy video, but you know, I can only create what is actually there, and since I always draw inspiration from my emotions and my thoughts, I don't really get to pick and choose. But don't worry, I'm fine. It's all good. Just thought that was a very, like, when he told me that, it really hit me, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Alright, guys, thank you for watching. I hope I didn't ramble too long before making my point. And I hope you all have an amazing weekend. I really, truly do. And